Hey guys, it's Wert, welcome back to another video, and today we're doing the final part of my ranking of every single Smash Ultimate character from my least favorite to my favorite. So this is going to be the top 15 characters I like the most in this game. It's been really hard making this list, but it's also been a ton of fun to make this kind of mini-series or whatever you want to call it. If you've not seen parts 1, 2, 3, or 4, check them out in the description below. But this is it. This is the end of it, so I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten on this series, and let's hope we finish strong and you guys like my final picks here at the very end. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. At number 15, we have Pac-Man. Now, Pac-Man is someone that has been in since Smash 4, but I feel like has really shined, at least to me specifically, in Ultimate. I've done some Pac-Man, I've seen some things that Pac-Man can do, and it is ultimately Galaga Brain. I know it's a meme, they say Galaga Brain or whatever. I honestly still love to watch Pac-Man's play. It's also, you know, Pac-Man, the iconic video game character. Like, everyone knows who Pac-Man is, and his way he's represented in Smash, I think, was done a really well job. And I think this character has a really nice kind of learning curve to him. So you can't just pick up Pac-Man and be an expert at him. You can spend a lot of time figuring out this character, and I love characters like that where you spend a lot of time, you can actually get better and better and better at them, instead of just, you know, watching one combo video and calling it a day. Of course, you know, there's depth to every single character, but I really think that Pac-Man has a lot of it, and I think it's really interesting to watch Pac-Man's play and see how they play. I started playing this character somewhat recently, and I really think they're a lot of fun. I'm not going to main them or spend all my time figuring them out, but I still think there's a lot of in-depth stuff you can do with Pac-Man, and I think he's a really interesting character because of it. Next up, we have Byleth. Now, I know immediately you're probably saying, really? Everyone hates Byleth, though. And I do understand why people were so upset at seeing Byleth announced for Smash Ultimate. We already had so many Fire Emblem characters. We're really excited for the final DLC character to be released in Pack 1. Boom, it's Byleth, a Fire Emblem character. I get the frustration there. However, I think Byleth's entire personality and moveset came through super well in Smash Ultimate. I think Byleth is a super fun character to play, and I think the entire moveset is really creative. It's not a typical Sword Fighter or Fire Emblem character. You know, you look at Marth and Chrom and Roy and all those characters, they all play super similarly. Byleth is not like them at all. Even Corrin plays more similar to, like, not Rob, sorry. You know, similar to someone like Chrom and Roy and Marth and Lucina. Well, I think that, I don't know why I said Rob. I think that Byleth plays very uniquely and is super fun and interesting of a character. So I think Byleth really earned her spot. You know, we can pick him or her. I usually pick the female Byleth. So I think that she picked her, you know, has made a name for herself in the Smash Ultimate roster really well. And I think that she's, you know, made a name for herself as being a standout character. I also think that Three Houses is a pretty iconic and big, you know, Nintendo and Fire Emblem game. So I think it was pretty deserving of a Smash Ultimate roster spot. So I am glad that Byleth is here overall, but I still, again, do get the complaints. Next up, we have Steve Minecraft. Now, this is totally a meme character that no one really saw coming. I mean, I'm sure some people definitely thought this character was definitely going to happen, but I was completely shook. I didn't think this character was going to happen, nor was I really excited for this character to potentially happen, but Steve Minecraft made it into the game, and I absolutely love that he's here. Honestly, they made a really great moveset for this character, and he's a very unique and creative character. Is he someone I particularly find fun to play as myself? No, and I do think that there is some kind of gameplay stuff to him that can be kind of frustrating to play against. But overall, I do definitely see the merit in Steve and adding him into the Smash roster. I think Minecraft is a super iconic and huge game, so adding into Smash I think actually fits decently well. But Steve himself obviously stands out, but in a good way. It's kind of a funny way that, you know, I kind of understand that this character is different from everyone else in pretty much every single way. So I like Steve for those reasons, and I'm glad he's in the Smash Ultimate roster. You know, originally, a couple months ago, I would have said, you know, I don't want him Steve at all. But now that we have him in here, I think he actually earned his spot pretty well. Next, we have Peach and Daisy at a tie for 12 and 11, our final tie of the entire ranking. And I just gotta be honest, I am a sucker for watching Peach and Daisy combos. I think they did a really great job of making these characters feel amazing in Smash Ultimate. Maybe they did it by accident, I don't know, but it just seems so random that Peach and Daisy are so fluid and fun in this game. They've been around since Melee, but I think that, you know, since Melee, they haven't really shined the way they do now in Ultimate. But I think they really play really smoothly in this game. There's a lot of people that perfect and play a lot of Peach and Daisy. A lot of people think that she's like one of the best characters in the game. I think she's probably like top 5, really good, but I also think there is a learning curve to this character where you can get even better and better by playing them, kind of similarly to someone like Xenosuke Samus or someone I mentioned earlier like Pac-Man. So I think that's a really cool, valuable thing in this character, and I think that she does a great job of presenting herself, or herselves, you know, Peach or Daisy. They're pretty much interchangeable. I'm glad Daisy's in this game, let's be honest. You know, she deserves it. She's been in like every Mario game ever for the past like 20 years, so I think Daisy being in Smash is very fitting, and I'm glad they did this kind of echo thing with the two of them. No complaints there for me, and both these characters overall, I really like them. So yeah, they just missed the top 10 because, you know, we had these characters. They don't really represent represent the brand new stuff that came in Smash Ultimate, and that's pretty much all the top 10 characters were not in Smash 4. If I'm looking correctly, I think that's true. That's not true, but pretty much most of the top 10 are actual like unique characters to Smash Ultimate. So let's go ahead and jump into them. Alright, like I said, the top 10, beginning with Wolf. So, Wolf is a character that was brought back from Brawl, and honestly I didn't realize how much I missed him. A lot of people wanted him back. I was kind of like, you know, I guess we could bring him back in Smash 4. It's not really a character I used to love playing back in Brawl, but playing him in Smash Ultimate feels so good. If you guys watched my last video, you know that I really like playing as Falco and Fox, and I think Wolf plays super smoothly and super great in this game. He's probably my favorite Spacey, pretty much not only say just because he's the new guy on the block, well, relatively new guy, returning guy on the block, but I think that he's really imposing and a cool character in this game. He's stylish, he's fun, he doesn't have, you know, maybe I don't know this because I don't main Wolf or anything, but he doesn't feel like he has that much crazy depth to the character. Of course, there's things like every character you can get better and better at playing them, but that's the reason he's at number 10 and not like top 5 or whatever, but overall I really like his gameplay. I'm glad he's back here in Ultimate, and I think he's made a nice name for himself in this entire game. So, huge shout out to Wolf. I'm really glad he's back, and I think he's presented himself really nicely in this game. Or they've presented Wolf. Wolf didn't do himself, but yeah, I think they've made Wolf really nice and very fluid and fun in Smash Ultimate, and I'm glad he's here for sure. At number 9, we have Incineroar, who I think is a really overlooked character in this game. A lot of people think he's very weak and not very good because, you know, he is so slow, but I actually think that this is a potentially strong character. I know most people place him at mid-tier or low mid-tier or whatever. I think Incineroar has legit insane amount of potential, and I also think that Incineroar is a super fun and unique character. Of course, he's a fire-type Pokemon. Well, when you say that, you think, well, we already had Charizard and whatnot. We don't really need Incineroar, another fire-type starter or whatever. This guy is completely different from Charizard. He's pretty much different from every other kind of character in this game, pretty much. I was going to say he's kind of like, you know, a brawler character like, what is it, the Shotos or Captain Falcon or something. But no, this guy is completely unique. He feels like a wrestler character, and I think that's really cool. Am I still a little salty that Decidueye didn't make it in the game? Yes, because I love Decidueye so much, but still I'm glad they went with, you know, Incineroar. I think he has a really great presence in this game, and like I said, I think he's really overlooked. I think this character, stacking up revenges and stuff, I know online if you get a revenge, the other person just starts running, but I think in competitive play that those things could really come out and be really interesting to watch with a top level Incineroar. I love playing this character a lot. I think he has a lot of potential, and he's one of my favorite new inclusions in Smash Ultimate, which is really surprising because when he was announced, I wasn't all that excited, but actually playing him and sitting down and figuring this character out, I think there's a lot of really fun stuff to do with Incineroar. Next, we have King K. Rool. Now, I know you guys are probably a little unexpected about this one because a lot of people see King K. Rool and they think he's kind of a spammy, trolly character that throws the crown and shoots the cannon and abuses super armor and stuff like that. That's all kind of true, but it's also King K. Rool, so he kind of gets a pass. It kind of feels like that's the archetype this character really needed. It's the archetype that this character's personality all fits around being kind of trolly, or I guess you could say something like that. A very kind of corny villain, just kind of representing King K. Rool and what he brought from the Donkey Kong games back in the day into Smash Bros. Really well. A lot of times when I see heavily requested characters, I think, I don't know, they're going to include him, but I don't know if they can make him as fun as these people want or whatever. See, like Banjo, you know, I think they kind of could have made Banjo's moveset better, but the way they did King K. Rool's moveset, I think they did it incredibly well, and I think King K. Rool has done a really great job of standing out in the Smash Ultimate roster, and he's also a ton of fun to play. I gotta be honest, he's probably my favorite heavy to play overall, and he's a very unique character in that regard. So I really like playing King K. Rool. I think he was a great inclusion at the end of the day, and I'm glad they got him into Smash in the end. So yeah, really good stuff all around. Next up, we have Terry Bogard. I'm going to be completely honest and upfront with you guys. I didn't know who this guy was when he got revealed, or when he was being leaked and whatnot. You know, I'm not a Fatal Fury fan, I'm not a King of Fighters fan, nothing like that. This was a really out of left field character. However, looking up the character, I figured he has such a huge fighting game history and legacy behind this guy, and I think that it was a really creative inclusion. You know, his inclusion kind of reminded me back in Brawl and Melee when I first played those games, and seeing so many characters that I didn't know who they were, and I looked up these characters, and it led me into new franchises, like, I didn't even know who the Star Fox characters were, Metroid even, a lot of things like that. I didn't know where they came from, so seeing them in Smash was a great introduction, and it's the same kind of thing with someone like Terry. I think he's a really iconic and legendary character, and that I've heard of and know who he is. However, going into the game, I had no clue who he was, and I actually discovered a new franchise and a new kind of history of video games in general because of this guy. I also think that he's a very fun character. I know a lot of people don't play him nearly as much as they did when he first came out, but I still think there's a lot of merit to his gameplay. A lot of really fun combos. I'm not talking about jab jab power dunk. I'm talking about legit combos and fun things you can figure out with this character. I think people have dropped this character too quick. I know there's people out there that still play him, but I really wish more people would try this guy out and figure out all that he's capable of, because I really do think this character is capable of a lot, and I really respect the character and people that play him. So overall, I'm a huge fan of Terry Bogard. I really am glad he's in the game, despite me not really knowing who he was. Next is a character I certainly did know who he was. It is Sephiroth. Now this is someone that I had no idea he would even possibly come to the Smash Ultimate roster. He's such an iconic villain to all of gaming. You know, you could say like, wow, really another Final Fantasy VII character, I guess, but Sephiroth has become so much more than just a Final Fantasy VII character. He's made a legacy across all Final Fantasy games and also like Kingdom Hearts and spin-offs and everything. Everyone kind of knew who Sephiroth was. Such an imposing villain, and I think they did a great job of translating, you know, his power and stuff into a moveset. Landing a huge Giga Flare or something is so satisfying. Seeing his final smash, you just know this guy means business. He just oozes power, to me at least. I think that he is a really great inclusion in the Smash roster, a really out of left field inclusion. I'm really glad that they decided to go with this character. I feel like they're, well, probably, I don't want to say it wasn't their first choice, but, you know, it just seems kind of unexpected. They were really going to go for the villain of Final Fantasy VII, but at the same time, this villain of Final Fantasy VII is such a huge and iconic character that I learned who he was first through Kingdom Hearts, and then figuring, like, even there he had a presence, and that presence that he had in, like, Kingdom Hearts and other games, and even, of course, in the Final Fantasy VII franchise as well. I love how I say Final Fantasy VII franchise, because there's so many Final Fantasy VII games. But, you know, he carries that kind of presence he has over to Smash. He just feels like a powerful character that can rival, like, the strongest characters in the game. Like, you know, you see Bayonetta and Palutena. They seem like they're kind of deities, and it feels like Sephiroth is, like, the deity killer. Maybe that's just me being really dramatic and kind of corny, but I still think it's very cool and a very imposing villain to have in the game, and I'm really glad we do. Alright, kicking off the top 5 is the counterpart to Sephiroth. We have Cloud. Now, Cloud is someone that I want to take you guys back to Smash 4 days when we were predicting new characters. You know, new characters for that game. We got people like Little Mac, we got Bowser Jr., Duck Hunt, a lot of really fun and interesting Nintendo characters. DLC, we started getting a little bit interesting. We brought back like Mewtwo, we had a surprise character like Street Fighter, and then out of nowhere, Final Fantasy VII music starts to play, and we have Cloud Strife in the game. Now, I don't really know if you guys understand how mind-blowing that is, because Cloud Strife is someone, you know, I played Kingdom Hearts, I played some Final Fantasy games, I've always known who Cloud was. Of course, at that time, I had not played Final Fantasy VII specifically, but I still knew who Cloud was, and he's such an iconic video game character. Look at characters like Link, Mario, Pac-Man, Sonic. I think Cloud is up there of being just as iconic and legendary, even if it's just how much praise Final Fantasy VII alone gets. I think Cloud is a really deserving character of a roster to be in Smash Bros. And such an out-of-left-field inclusion that I think was just kind of, it changed the landscape of Smash forever, really. You know, Smash used to be a Nintendo game with third-party guest characters once in a while. However, now after Cloud, I feel like the entire dynamic of the game has changed to be a collection of characters from literally anywhere in gaming. Like, people are saying Master Chief and stuff like that could come in this game at any moment. Basically, all that is opened up by Cloud. Now, I know I've been gushing about his conclusion for the past, like, 2 minutes, but really he also does have a very fun gameplay style in Ultimate. I do think he played a little bit smoother in Smash 4, but however, he was very, I think he was like top 3 at least in Smash 4, so now having him in Ultimate, he doesn't feel as good. Honestly, I think he's a pretty, I don't want to say weak character, because he's definitely very viable, but he's a lot weaker than his counterpart, and he's not the top tier as he was. I do wish he got a little bit stronger, because I don't mind seeing Cloud be so strong, because he just is such an iconic character, but I still really like the character. I think there's merit to his gameplay, and I respect the character a whole lot, even if it is mostly for his inclusion. You know, the inclusion factor carried him up to like the top 10 at least, and then, you know, the gameplay itself is put him this high. So I really like Cloud overall, and I'm really glad he's in the game. At number 4, we have Joker, who's sort of like Cloud. He was a really big deal when he was announced. You know, it's kind of a very unexpected character, but at the same time, it wasn't, you know, I don't want to compare it too much to Cloud, because Cloud was such a groundbreaking thing. Joker didn't really seem as legendary or iconic, but everyone kind of knew at that time what Persona was. Persona 5 was a big deal, so getting Joker in the game was also really cool. But however, the reason Joker is a little bit higher is because the moveset just feels super smooth in this game. I think that Joker's moveset feels so much fun, and of course he is, some people think he's the best character in the game. game. I think he's at least top 3 at the very least. He's very good. But I think Joker is a very fun character to play as well. A lot of these top tiers I also think are very fun, but you know, Joker just feels really smooth and good. I would have him even higher because, you know, it was such a cool big deal when Joker was added. However, I don't love his counter, you know, being able to absorb the blows and stuff like that. I know you can just grab them or whatever. People that abuse that are going to get punished, but just out of nowhere. And also Arsene can be very frustrating to play against. I understand that for sure, but I also think that is a unique and kind of somewhat fun mechanic. Even if you start playing cat and mouse in Smash Ultimate, you got to realize that defense is part of the game. You got to kind of dodge and avoid instead of just doing crazy combos all the time. So kind of running from Arsene, I think is a somewhat viable strategy and somewhat fun. So I know that's a very weird take on the whole Arsene thing, but overall, I still think the character is a lot of value to the Smash Ultimate roster, and I'm definitely glad he's here. So earning the bronze medal for the entire list is going to be our boy Snake. Now I know some people might be upset about this inclusion, or this placement of Snake, because they see his gameplay, they don't think there's a lot of value to it. You know, throw the grenade, run, place a C4, run, throw a grenade, run. That's a very kind of dumbed down version of Snake's gameplay, but I've actually seen a lot of Snakes do a lot more in-depth stuff, and I've been playing a lot more Snake recently. Once I picked up this character, I almost couldn't put him down. I feel like there's so much value you can get in Snake and in his gameplay that I think a lot of people overlook how fun this character can be, and even playing against them, you know, you see Snake and he's just throwing stuff at you. Some people get really annoyed. Like I said, we're back with Joker. You gotta play defense some in Smash. It kind of feels like you should be playing bullet hell. Be smarter about how you approach Snake. I know it could be really hard, easier said than done, I know. But you just gotta think, how do I approach this character and how can I work my way around? Because once you get in on Snake, you're in on him and you can do a lot of damage. However, let's stop talking about the character gameplay. Let's talk about how cool it was to have Snake in Smash Bros. I think a lot of people overlook this because he's been in the game for so long. But Snake's addition in Brawl was actually the first third-party character that we got announced, which is just so strange to me. I know Metal Gear was a game on, you know, the GameCube and back in the Super Nintendo games, and then like all those past games had Metal Gear Solid on them. It just seems so out of left field to get a character this gritty and kind of intense in the Smash Bros. Roster, a kind of Nintendo game. But overall, looking back, I think he fits perfectly now, at least in Smash Ultimate kind of aesthetic. It's a very kind of somewhat gritty game that also is suiting well for, you know, Nintendo characters like Pikachu and Kirby don't stand out weirdly. And I think Snake fits along with them perfectly, and I think that Snake is a very iconic and cool character. It's kind of weird that we got him as a first, you know, first third-party character back in the day, but even if he wasn't, I think that Snake probably would have been a DLC character in Ultimate at this point by now anyway. So I'm really glad Snake is here. I think he has a really fun, unique gameplay to him. That's something I've mentioned throughout the list. Unique gameplay and style of play is very important in my mind, and I think there's like almost no more. There's probably some more unique characters than Snake specifically, but I still think Snake stands out definitely for being the kind of only character like this. So I think that's really cool, and I also think, like I said, he's a ton of fun and really great inclusion. So of course he's going to be super high up, but he ranks at number 3. Now number 2 is going to be Hero. Now Hero from Dragon Quest was not a character I was specifically excited for when I saw announced and he's leaked like crazy, but the more I thought about it, this character is so deserving to be in Smash. Dragon Quest was the birth game of like all RPGs. I know people say that as a kind of like joke and kind of saying, if we weren't going to get Dragon Quest, we were going to get a first RPG anyways, but really Dragon Quest was kind of the first one, and you know, getting it into Smash, such a legendary and iconic game. Dragon Quest led to, you know, Pokemon, led to Final Fantasy, all this stuff. So I think it's a really deserving spot in the Smash Ultimate roster, and I'm glad we have all this Dragon Quest stuff now in Smash Bros. I just think it fits super well, and I'm glad we got Hero as well, and I love the palette swaps and everything like that. So Hero also, enough talking about Dragon Quest specifically, the moveset is so much fun. I know people call it RNG and broken, it's so annoying to play against Hero. I will admit, I think that crits are a dumb inclusion, you know, getting a critical hit on a smash attack. I wish that got nerfed out. I play Hero all the time. It's probably my secondary, honestly, in this game. My main being Toon Link, as I mentioned before. But I do think crits are stupid, and sometimes, you know, the kaboom hitbox or moves like that can be a little overkill, I'll be honest. But overall, I still think that Hero is a ton of fun character. I know people see him, they just don't think there's much skill level to him. I still think there is. You know, gotta manage your mana and your inventory. I say inventory, but like your spells and your mana and everything like that. And really work around the best way you can make this character, because without this stuff, he's not that great. Honestly, he's a very simple sword character, but I still think he is a ton of fun in this game. And like I said, the whole kind of legendary iconicness to Dragon Quest, bringing him into Smash, I think fits so well. So I'm really happy Hero's here, and I hope he's here to stay in future Smash games, because I think he's a lot of fun. Do I, again, think that there's some stupid RNG stuff that I don't entirely agree with? Of course, but I still overall really enjoy this character, and he's made his ranks up all the way up to number 2. So, nice. And bringing home the gold as my favorite character in this game is going to be Pokemon Trainer. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking, isn't this like cheating or a weird technicality because Pokemon Trainer is technically 3 characters or whatnot? The way I've always looked at fighting games, including Smash Bros., a character pick on the character select screen, that's the character. You don't pick a character and then, switch in and out. I know that's kind of true for something like Zelda and Sheik and stuff like that, but really, I've always considered Pokemon Trainer to be one specific fighter, and some people might not agree with me there, but I've always thought that, and I think that the way he's designed benefits to have all these 3 Pokemon work together as 3 different fighters kind of working together under one main, trainer. And I think the reason I like him so much is because it really represents Pokemon, I think, in the best way. Of course, you've had Pikachu since Smash 64. Pikachu attacks, he does his thing, and like in the games, Pikachu attacks and does his thing. However, in the games, really what's happening in Pokemon games, you're using a team of 3 and using their weaknesses and strengths with each other and figuring out how you can take down your opponent. That is exactly what Pokemon Trainer represents. Squirtle, it doesn't do as much damage as Charizard. You weaken him up, you do the combos with Squirtle, switch over mid-range with Ivysaur, and then finish him out with Charizard. I think that kind of gameplay coming through from the Pokemon translating into Smash Bros. Is just so perfect in my opinion. I think it works so incredibly well. One, on a Smash Bros. Level, having a character that can do this, because in my personal opinion, I don't think any of the 3 Pokemon are particularly great top-tier characters. Squirtle probably being the strongest of them because of his heavy combo game, but really he has a lot of weaknesses as well. So I don't think any of them are really incredibly strong characters, but working together as the 3 of them switch in and out, I think it makes him a very strong and top contender of a character. And like I've said, for a lot of these guys, he also has a very big skill gap and learning curve to figuring out Pokemon Trainer's best strengths. So overall, I really like how they handled Pokemon Trainer. I'm glad they brought him back from Brawl. He was really bad in Brawl, so to me, he kind of feels like a brand new character. He had some really dumb mechanics back in Brawl. So in Ultimate, he feels like a new character. I'm glad so many people have picked up and tried this character out. He was my first main back when I started this game because I thought his idea and concept was so interesting. Even back in Brawl, I wanted to get good at this character, but now, where he's actually viable, I've spent a lot of time trying to figure this guy out. I do think it's somewhat frustrating, trying to learn 3 characters just to play one pick and like a, one character, three movesets for one character. You get what I'm saying here. Can be kind of frustrating, so I definitely get that. But overall, I still think there's so much value in this character, and I'm glad. I think it's a good pick to represent the #1 spot because, we have all these third-party characters and everything like that, but Pokemon really feels like a core Nintendo franchise. I know it's made by Pokemon Company or whatever, but yeah, I still think that it was a great inclusion and a really creative way to represent Pokemon overall. So, yeah. So I think that's going to wrap it up for my top 15 and overall top 83 rankings of every Smash Ultimate character. This has been quite the journey. It's been a lot of fun doing this, also really exhausting, so I'm not going to lie, I'm glad I'm done with it. But I think I did a great job in these videos. You might have some critiques here and there, but I really am proud of my rankings and how I've decided to come out with my top 10, my top 15, and pretty much the entire rankings overall. Looking back, there's some things that I'm not entirely sure about. I feel like Dr. Mario might have been too low, or, some characters might have more value than I realized, and stuff like that, but most of the time, I think that the ranking was done pretty well, and I'm really proud of how this kind of, 5-part series came out. So, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting this little, mini-series or whatever you want to call it. I really appreciate all the support, and all the new subscribers and everything because of it. I really love that. So, thank you guys so much. I plan to do more creative kind of ideas like this, so if you guys like this video and all the parts of this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Leave your comments down below. See you guys next time, and bye-bye.